Today we're making beef goulash, and the ingredients you'll need are beef broth, cornstarch, salt, pepper, paprika, cayenne pepper, potatoes, carrots, onions, red peppers, tomatoes, and beef meat. It's like stew meat. It'll be labeled that in the grocery store. Before we add our meat to the slow cooker, we're going to caramelize our beef. So we're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, or you can use whole flour if you have that handy. And we're just going to give this a good mix before we add to our skillet. Next, we're going to season our meat. And first off, we have some chili powder. About 1 teaspoon should do the trick here. So once we've added our chili powder, a little bit more, we're going to add our garlic powder, and same here, about a teaspoon should do the trick. If you prefer the flavor, you can add a little bit more. After the garlic powder, we're going to add pepper. I prefer my meat to have a bit of a kick, so I added about 1 teaspoon here. And next up is the salt. You don't want to go too heavy because this will be cooking in beef broth, which is already salty. So about half a teaspoon to start with. After we've added our salt and pepper, we're going to add our main ingredient here, paprika. And I actually got this on my travels from Hungary, but this is really going to give the traditional taste to our goulash. So I went a little bit overboard here and I added about maybe 2.5 to 3 tablespoons, but you should get the trick with about 2 tablespoons. So once we've added all our seasoning, we're just going to give this a good mix here. And just make sure all the pieces of beef here have a nice light coating before we add to our skillet. So on medium-high heat, you want to bring about 1.5 teaspoons of olive oil to a sizzle, and you just want to drop the beef pieces in to your skillet. And you don't want the pieces to touch because you want to get the browning effect on all sides of the meat. So I'll just continue to drop these in here, and then I'll show you what to do. So I had 2 skillets going here in the interest of time. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just flipping over our beef chunks once they have a nice brown coloring on both sides of the meat. We're cooking our goulash on high for 4 hours. So basically what I've done here is I've diced up our potatoes, carrots, and red bell peppers, and I've added that to the crock pot in addition to our browned meat. And I'm just adding about maybe 2 to 3 cups of chicken stock, just enough to cover the top of our vegetables and meat that we've added. So once you done that, you just give this a good stir, and you can add the lid to the crock pot. Goulash traditionally has a thicker texture, not like a chicken soup, but more closer to a stew. So for that, we'll need to create a roux. Here I've added 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and you just whisk this together until the 2 ingredients combine. And just make sure you're incorporating all the flour from the sides of the pan. We're just cooking out the raw taste. So all I did was just add our roux to our pot, and this is the final product after 4 hours. Nice tender beef goulash, and this was just super amazing. So give it a try. Enjoy.